Welcome to Ask the Funeral Director with Mike Voyajakis. Brought to you by Voyage Funeral Home and Crematorium. Now, here's your host, Brad Wilder. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ask the Funeral Director with Michael Voyajakis. It seems as though there are minor little things that can happen along the way in the course of a show every episode. Welcome to the program. We've got a lot to get to. I'm Brad Wilder, your host. Mike is going to be here in just a couple of minutes. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. One of the things is some stuff that's going along down in Sydney, Australia. I know that that particular issue is something that we're all going to probably face here in Canada next, because what's been happening in New Zealand and Australia is making its way here to Canada. So more to come on that, plus a little bit of a look at an insight. We'll talk about Mark Carney, I'm sure, because there's an election coming up, and there's more to come. There's lots to get to tonight. It's right here on Ask the Funeral Director. We'll be right back after this message. At the Cork and Flame, we're open for breakfast. Come in, relax, and enjoy before you start your day with amazing dishes, including skillet scrambles, omelets, poached eggs, French toast, pancakes, and more. The Cork and Flame Breakfast Special gets you in and out in a hurry with 2 eggs any style, hash browns, and your choice of bacon, sausage, or ham, plus toast, pancakes, or French toast, all for just $10. The Cork and Flame, not just for special occasions, but rather amazing eats. We hope to see you soon. Breakfast at the Cork and Flame. Yummy stuff, Mike. Love it. So good.
Anyway, when you watch a commercial like that, it just makes you want to eat. Just go out and eat.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Glad to have you here again on another Wednesday night. Steve Bage finally makes it to number 1, saying happy hump day, everyone. Gord, sorry, buddy, you got knocked off the chart today. Evening, Mike and Brad. Susan, good evening.
Debbie Lamoureux is here as well. Hey, guys and gals. Josh Voyajakis, look at that.
Hey,
Josh is
Josh. When are you going to come on the show, Josh? We need you.
Right here, buddy. Right here. We got a chair for you. It's all ready to go. We'll put a mic up for you. You'll be set.
Janet, good evening, everyone from Smithers.
Patricia from Cornwall, Ontario is with us tonight.
Josh Voyajakis says, can't hear you, Brad.
Yes, you can. I'm
That
right
was
here.
that was from way back.
I hope that's way back.
Beginning.
I think we're working now. Everything's
Hey,
supposed to
Kathy,
be okay.
tickle. I finally saw
A picture of her.
a picture of her.
Yeah, me too. I was like, what?
You know, you always wonder what people look like, and all of a sudden I saw a picture of Kathy Tickle, and now you can put a face to
That's
that.
right,
that
that's
picture,
right.
Which is really cool. Terry Thiessen, hello from southern Alberta.
Brenda Warwick, good evening from Long Salt, Ontario. I've never heard of Long Salt, Ontario.
Mike from Calgary.
Watching at the Flying J.
Al
Must be
Bueller.
trucking.
Al Bueller's not fixing anything tonight. He's watching the show.
Good to hear it.
We got a great show planned out tonight. Also going to give away some of these from Canada Nano Silver, and these are gummies.
Hey, you brought the gummies today.
Not the kind of gummies you think.
Not THC gummies.
But different gummies that we're going to be giving away during the show. And this time we're going to get you to pick, we're not going to do it yet, but we're only going to pick a number from 1 to 50. We're going to do it during one of the videos. So we're not reading numbers all night long, which I'm
That's
sure
right.
you probably don't appreciate anyways. And you know what? It's funny.
You don't
Dan
have a lot
Ross
of...
from Ross, Manitoba. Hey, Dan. You know, I wanted to talk about something because it kind of drove me crazy. So I put something on about the Winnipeg Jets winning a hockey game yesterday.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the comment line was on fire with people saying, how could you support those Winnipeg Jets? Do you know what they did during COVID lockdowns? It was crazy, but the Winnipeg Jets are a team a Manitoba team. I love them. I'll continue watching them. Listen, they
They're,
follow
they're, in,
mandates.
they're in second place.
They're in first place.
Oh, first place. Sorry.
Now they got a
There we go.
playoff spot. You know what? I know that people have hard feelings against the mandates, but let me tell you something. There's not one person out there who says they don't support a business that did lockdowns. You go shopping, you go to hospitals, you get on airplanes. They all did lockdowns. They all made us wear masks. They all did those things. It was terrible. We need to learn to forgive and forget, be better people. We'll never forget what happened, but we just got to be better people and connect together as one, unite and fight it next time around. But we can't be so negative against a hockey team. It's different players. It's a different team. You can be mad at the owners of the arena. I'm mad at a few things, where you go there and it's cash, no cash accepted. That's crazy. Some people, all they carry is cash. Not happy about that. I know a lot of people aren't happy that they can't go outside and get some fresh air. And
well, that's what's going to come up in this first video that we're going to play in just a minute. It's going to talk about some of the restrictions when you can't use cash. I mean, that's the bottom line. You can't use cash. Somebody else is in control of your life, right?
And our first video is all about that. You got to watch this video. And I talk to people all the time, and I say, listen, it's not about. People think, oh, it's the party that we're going to vote for. Listen, Trudeau brought Canada down. I don't usually, show my political views, but I'm not a Liberal fan at this time. I think Mark Carney is terrible. I think he would be a terrible leader.
I know he would be.
He's been criticized by every bank that he's ever worked for.
Every country he's ever worked for.
The guy's a living disaster, and I know you have a right. You have a right to vote for whoever you want to vote for. But do your research, because this election is so important.
Yeah,
we saw what we went through.
This guy's really tied to the World Economic Forum in ways that Trudeau is not.
Clearly. This guy's clearly a World Economic Forum supporter, member, whatever you want to call it.
He's a member.
And he's a member, and he could be Canada's next leader if we don't smarten up, do our research. Before you go and vote, voting's important. We need as many people as possible to go out and vote for this election so we don't get another Liberal government. I don't think the NDP is going to get any votes whatsoever, in my humble opinion.
I have no idea what's going to happen there. Like you said, everybody gets a chance to do what they feel in their heart, but I hope that their heart is looking for something new, something different, and something that's going to be positive for the country and Canadians alike.
As a matter of fact, he just went on a trip to Europe. Not even the Prime Minister of Canada doesn't even have a seat in cabinet, and he spent, I think it was in the $600,000-$700,000 range, taxpayers' money. When he got asked by a news reporter, what gave him the right to spend Canadian tax dollars, not even being an elected PM or somebody sitting on Parliament. So that just shows you what kind of leader that guy is and who you would get in power. And that's exactly what he would be, a power freak.
Yeah, he's definitely not a Canadian. He's holding no seat in Parliament. There's a whole bunch of things that just, want to make you say, stay away from this guy.
We want you to watch this next video, because if we don't wake up and smell the coffee. I was talking to Brad on the phone on the way here, and I said, we talked about these lockdowns, we talked about maybe digital currency, we talked about all this, but I want to remind you something. The Bible talks about all this stuff happening in clear black and white, and everything that's happened in the Bible has happened in real life. Call it fluke, call it reality, call it something that really happened in this world, but we want you to watch this next video because it's all about the next step.
It's the next step for an organization that seems to think that they're going to get away with controlling the population. And they've done that in New Zealand, and they're doing it in Australia, and they're about to do it here in Canada too. And Mark Carney is a part of that.
And this is happening as we speak. This isn't something that people are just talking about. It's not fiction. It's fact. This is fact. It's happening right now around the world. They've been testing the implants that they're putting in hands for like 3 or 4 years now. And watch this video. Leave your comment. In the meantime, before we do the video, we're going to be giving away the Immune Gummies from Canada Nano Silver. So we're going to pick a number. So you go ahead and put those numbers on the screen, 1 to 50. Whoever gets the right one first is going to get these Immune Gummies.
And we're not calling out numbers. So
not calling out numbers.
Find out who the winner is, and we're going to give them away. So
start
did you pick a number yet?
Yeah, I got a number.
All right.
The number has something to do with the Winnipeg Jets again.
Okay, here we go. Video time.
New World Order. Look at this. So we're in like one of the lowest social economic areas in Sydney. Just made this during COVID, you know, during the lockdowns. They did all this and it looks very dystopian. Cameras got it. That's gonna have facial recognition one day. And then here, you're gonna have to, you know, tap on like this. This is how it works. It's all conditioning, you know. First we had the tickets that you put on the bus, you put on the train, and they went to the Opal cards. Then from the Opal cards that you tap, they went from your phone. So now you tap with your phone. Next step is you're gonna tap with the microchip. Everyone's already been conditioned with all the steps, and we'll just accept it, you know. And they'll be like, oh yeah, that's just the world evolving, building metros everywhere in the city of Sydney. So when they lock us down again and they say, oh, you can't travel 15 minutes outside, your card or your microchip at the time isn't going to let you pass through certain areas. If you have like a low social credit score, it won't let you go into like the rich areas or the nice poshy areas. Plus mixed with the electric cars, it's like even the scooters that you hire, the bikes that you hire on the street, it doesn't let you ride in certain areas and it just stops the bikes and the scooters from going. Wait till they do that with electric cars. All they need to do is force electric cars and then put an update in the car and it has all that GPS tracking stuff already. And you won't even be able to tinker with the car because it's so advanced. You can't even go to proper mechanics now. You can't even change anything in the electric cars because it's so advanced. Say it's convenience, no brother, that's control. Welcome to the New World Order. Look at this. So we're in like one of the low.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what that looks like, and that's something that could very well be in our future, Mike.
And you know what? It was kind of what happened in
It's
lockdowns.
very dystopian.
Yeah. COVID lockdowns were a crime against humanity, no doubt about it. And it pleased the bloody dictators. That's what it did. And we have more dictators out there, and I believe Carney's one of them. So we really need to wake up and smell the coffee. We have a winner. Pat Bray picks number 27. That's
Hooray, Pat. Good
Ehlers'
job.
number.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Ehlers scored the winning goal last night.
What a shot.
What a shot. You know, he was going
Oh, man.
65 miles an hour, and he shot the puck at 95 miles an hour.
I know.
I mean, that is incredible. I mean, to
picking that corner off from that angle, left-handed shot. I mean, right-handed shot maybe, but left-handed put him on the inside, and it just
What a
caught
goal.
it perfect.
What
perfect.
a goal. Going to go into our next video. Remember, we got the number already, so it is Pat Bray. Pat, you can pick up these immune gummies, Nano Silver. They were giving us one a week to give away.
A different price.
Different prize.
Yeah.
And
we had a gift bag full of them.
we got, like, look at this. We got a bag here full of
Big
prizes
gift
that we're
bag
giving
full.
away.
And you know what? They're going to be at the Canada Nano Silver. Will be the National Women's Show coming up at Stampede Park at the BMO Center up in Calgary, Alberta. That'll be happening April 5th and 6th. That's Saturday and Sunday from 10 till 6 and Sunday 10 till 5. You can check out Canada Nano Silver products at their booth, number 623. You can also shop online at CanadaNanoSilver.com. So get out and say hi to Kevin and Anna when they're up in Calgary. They've going to give you a big yahoo just for being there.
Ted Cusi still guessing numbers. Ted, we got a winner.
Yes, we do.
Again, congratulations, Pat Bray. Going to go into this next video. Lots to talk about tonight. So, big storm coming on Friday. Can you believe it?
Nah, we'll
March,
see about
you
that. I
think?
put the lawn furniture out already today, so I'm hoping.
Do you think we're going to get a storm?
No, I don't hope.
I
not.
hope we don't get a storm.
I don't know. You never know what they're spraying in the skies these days, but we're not allowed to talk about that on this show. Let's move along to our next video.
After 9 years, Justin Trudeau has shown that he's not worth the cost or the corruption. The Speaker has just recently ruled that all House business, all government business must be put aside while members of Parliament consider Liberal corruption. First, we had the case of the Green Slush Fund, the SDTC fund, where the Auditor General found over $330 million funneled to Liberal insiders' own businesses. She found massive conflicts of interest. Basically, these Liberal appointed board members who made the decision as to which companies got money, taxpayers' money, from this fund, were funneling that money to their own businesses or to the businesses of their close friends. So the Auditor General has blown the whistle on that, yet the government refuses to hand over the documents to the RCMP. The House of Commons passed a production order demanding that all documents, all information that the Auditor General uncovered, plus any documents that might exist in any government department related to this scandal, be handed over to the RCMP. The government is refusing, And as a result, the House will be seized with this corruption matter until they hand over the documents. And then we have the case of the other Randy, where a senior Trudeau minister is alleged to have been sitting around the cabinet table while also involved in his own business's affairs. His business partner was summoned before committee and refused to disclose all the information, refused to name who the other Randy is, refused to hand over all the documents and answer the questions that were put to him. And as a result, the House is seized with that motion as well. So what we're saying today is that the government will not be able to, the House will be staying on these corruption matters until the Liberals hand over all the documents to the RCMP. While Canadians are suffering with the cost of living crisis that Justin Trudeau caused with his runaway inflation, while millions of Canadians are visiting a food bank for the first time and young Canadians are giving up on the dream of home ownership as housing costs have doubled under the NDP Liberal government, it's clear once again that the Liberals will always stop and enrich their friends while they impoverish Canadians.
Like, what's this going to look like, and how long is this going to go on?
So the Speaker has ruled that the parliamentary that Parliament's rules were broken in this Liberal cover-up. The House of Commons demanded these documents be sent to the RCMP so that the RCMP can determine whether or not there are criminal charges warranted because of this corruption. The government refused to comply with this long-standing power that Parliament has to hold governments to account, and by doing so, the Speaker has now ruled that all government business must be put aside until the House deals with this corruption motion. It's really up to the government to determine how long that will take, but it's clear that they're willing to go to extreme lengths to cover up their corruption, that they're willing to put the business of Parliament off to the side just to protect Liberal insiders. Liberal-friendly appointees to this board funneled money to their own companies. That's taxpayers' money. And while Canadians are paying higher carbon taxes, higher prices at the grocery store, higher mortgage costs with high interest rates, Liberal insiders stopped and enriched themselves.
See, sad, eh? Stopped and enriched themselves. That's something they're really good at, isn't it?
It kind of reminds me of what was happening in the U.S. before Donald Trump took over.
Right.
Like Elon Musk, hate him, love him, whatever it is. It's funny. I got to say this. So Canada bans Tesla vehicles. So Trudeau's been pushing, electric this, electric that. Musk has all the electric vehicles, and now the far left, or is it the far right, destroying all the Tesla vehicles, burning them, setting. It's crazy what they're doing.
Sure is.
If they don't get their way. So it just shows how far these Liberals will go to cause trouble. And by not handing over government documents, I'm surprised the RCMP just doesn't walk in there and seize them. You know, what's the delay? Go in there, seize them. I'm sure there's going to be millions, if not billions of dollars.
The RCMP are not being directed by the Liberal government to do anything against themselves.
Exactly, but they should be. I mean, if the House puts a hold on everything.
That's where I think Pierre has a chance to maybe do some of that as he moves forward, if he can get there. And I hope that people are leaning that way. But you know, you can't do anything at this moment. We're stuck in a situation, to be honest with you, Mike, where the voting machines that we use here in Canada are the same ones that they use in the States.
I know.
It's the same company. It's the same organization. It's all of that. And you know, I'm worried that this won't be. And not to mention the continued, just, I guess, reflection of what's happened with China and the past elections, how they've been influenced and affected by China. So I think there's
going to be chaos on the streets if this election goes wrong this time around.
You think so?
I think so. I think Canadians have had enough. They're fed up. I mean, look, the average Canadian is having trouble feeding their families. They're losing their jobs. It's a tough time. It's almost like we're in another recession. The average person that comes into the funeral home really can't even afford to bury their loved ones. Restaurant businesses are down. Everything is down. The cost of living is getting to people. And, tax this and tax that, and your hard-earned money is going to taxes and paying for other countries. Like Canada's sending millions and millions of dollars to other countries. Why?
How many people do you think are changing their wills to actually reflect this shortage of cash?
We've had a lot of people come in and change their wills.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are coming in, and I sat with a family the other day, and the lady's going through stage 4 cancer, and she was okay with me sharing the story. And it brought tears to my eyes to sit with her. It was devastating to hear how much she's losing going through that battle. Only her and her mom and her life. And she's struggling to no degree to try and survive, to the point where she says she's going to the dollar store to buy food just to keep food on her table, which is really unfortunate for somebody that's battling cancer and that should be staying away from sugars and all that bad food. And, you know, the dollar store has really nothing healthy for you to eat. And, you know, give people money back in Canada. You know, give that hard-earned money back to Canada.
That's right.
Let other countries take care of themselves. We're Canadians. Take care of Canadians first.
Justin's managed to funnel a lot of money from Canadians out of this country.
I mean, I can't remember what the total was. How many millions of dollars did he send to Africa
we're talking billions of
for
dollars.
condoms?
Yeah, billions of dollars around the world that he's funneled out of here. And again, it's a real good attempt at trying to bankrupt our country and make things really rough. And then they say that, oh, Mark Carney's going to show up.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's going to be the savior. He's going to be the guy. Yeah, he's going to save it all. But the reality is that's not the case. Nobody can come back from any of this. Our kids are affected for years and years to come, Mike.
That's what you know what? Good thing you said that. I was at the restaurant the other day, and I was talking to a table who said, hey, Mike, you going to run for mayor in the future? And then all of a sudden, politics came up out of that. And then they said, oh, Mike, we have a savior coming here. And I'm like, oh, Pierre Poilievre?
Savior.
And then they said, no, Mark Carney. He's going to save Canada. He's going to make Canada great again. He's going to do it. Even Trump's endorsed him. And I'm thinking, and I looked at these people and I said, before you vote, think about what the Liberals have done to Canada in the X amount of years that have passed by. And if you think things are going to change, you got another thing coming. Do your research. Do your homework. Going to the next video.
All right, let's do it.
Hello, and thank you for calling the Hepatology Clinic at the Health Sciences Centre, Winnipeg.
Jeff Willison's days look a lot like this.
If this is an emergency, go to your nearest emergency department or call 911.
This cancer patient recently did just that. Last Friday, chest pains landed him in the St. Boniface Hospital ER.
But the first thing that came to my mind was a war zone. It was a complete traffic jam with chaos.
He says what happened there has shaken his trust in healthcare.
It's never been lower. I don't know what a person's supposed to do. I just came in by ambulance, and I've been told to get off the stretcher and go sit in the waiting room.
A few hours later, he says he walked out without seeing a doctor.
I felt defeated. I felt like giving up. I felt fear.
Willison is speaking out after hearing about a man who died earlier this week while waiting at the emergency department at Health Sciences Centre. On CBC's Information Radio on Thursday, Premier Wab Kinew told host Marcy Marcusa his government has ordered a critical incident investigation into the man's death.
I mean, why do you think the Manitobans should continue to trust the system?
Because we have excellent people working on the front lines.
I think we've reached the limit of what we can do with incremental change.
Kinew says the province has made incremental changes to healthcare, including adding ER beds and frontline staff. But he says larger-scale structural healthcare reforms are now needed. This ER doctor with the Canadian Association of Emergency Physicians agrees.
We already know the problem. The problem is not new.
Dr. Fraser Mackay says the association is advocating for changes to patient flow out of the ER and staffing levels. Mackay fears without solutions, even more patients will line up at the ER, even sicker than before. Willison is troubled by that too.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore because I'm living this nightmare.
His cancer surgery has been canceled multiple times. He's worried it's taking too long for healthcare to improve. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
That's a constant thing here in Canada and in Winnipeg as well that just continues to happen, and it's something that's concerning. And I don't hear Mark Carney talking anything about helping Canadians.
Mark Carney's a globalist.
And healthcare or any of the topics that are important. If you could just scroll up on the comments, I saw a comment there that I think we should read real quick. Just down one. Val. There we go. Val says, Carney is here to probate and liquidate the Corporation of Canada. That's the only reason he's here. He's not talking about the issues that matter to Canadians. Look, he's already tried to take away most of Poilievre's campaign. Like, I mean,
He has taken over.
Well,
his
he has.
campaign.
Yeah, everything that he was doing now, Carney's going to do. Well, okay, you know what? There's lots of other things that Pierre's going to pick, and I think that at the end of the day, when you decipher the two of them, you got to go with the less of two evils.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's Carney's direction. You know, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Canadians really feel about what's going on in the world.
Yeah, I agree with you. I truly believe in my heart that Pierre Poilievre will be the next Prime Minister of Canada, and I'm hoping that will be true. You know, my heart goes out to this gentleman who went to the ER and waited.
I was hoping you were going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada.
I knew.
Just saying.
You know, it's sad that a person is going through cancer. And Bob Canoe, you need to get on this. Sure, the people in the front lines are important. Sure, they're doing a great job, and we need to thank them for being in the front lines. Not easy to be working in hospitals and care homes and all that kind of stuff. The problem is the system is broken. The system is completely broken. You know, these people that are struggling with cancer should get, like, amazing treatment being from Canada. But no, instead, we're giving away our money, we're giving away our health care, we're giving away everything. Let's take care of these people. Emergency rooms should not have 20-hour wait times, 25-hour wait times. People struggling should get help and should get it now. And another problem is, don't forget, they closed down all the hospitals in Winnipeg. You know, they got 2 emergency hospitals, St. B and Health Science Center, and the Grace is getting quite a few emergencies. And, of course, we're seeing less deaths in the hospitals that they've closed down.
The specialization of these hospitals, right,
Terrible.
is happening.
Terrible. You know, when people had hospitals in their neighborhood, my mom lives not far from Seven Oaks Hospital, where my dad passed away, but it was close for them. It was convenient. If my dad was having health issues, they can rush him over to the hospital where he was next door. And a lot of people selected homes by hospitals, especially when they have healthcare issues.
That's right.
And to jeopardize people's lives is just wrong. Concordia Hospital, like Seven Oaks Hospital, Misericordia. I mean, all these hospitals have been closed down.
Misery is still a hospital, but it's not the same kind of hospital,
It's not
right?
an emergency hospital
no, it's
anymore.
Not. No.
And I mean, people's lives die when they got to get rushed to an emergency hospital.
45 minutes away versus 5.
Exactly, and that's a huge problem.
Not to mention the ambulances are coming from a greater distance as well today.
And you know what? I just can't wait. I want you to know, we talk about this all the time, and it's in my heart to talk to you about it tonight, and I'm going to. In a week or so, I'm going to get my brother's autopsy report finally with the pathology and pathologist report. And I just can't wait to get that. And if you think Mike Wojciak has caused problems before, wait till I get this into my hands. There's a lot I want to prove and a lot I want to say. But the autopsy report is a book that somebody has written, and all the pages are in there after they die, and it tells you piece by piece, part by part of what happened next.
Yeah.
Just can't wait. Do we have another video, or are we going to ask the funeral director?
That's it. I think we're going to go right into questions now, and there's been quite a few questions that have come up over the course of the week. You got some through email. And where can people email you if they want to send you an email?
So emails are at askthefuneraldirector@gmail.com. Or you can send them to voyage@mts.net. But if you have a question, askthefuneraldirector@gmail.com. A lot of times when I go to questions, I also go back to previous shows. And I see what we were talking about, and then I answer those questions from those shows. You know, I had a good time today. My brother Nick and Pete stopped by the Cork and Flame.
Oh, yeah?
And the three of us just kind of sat and had supper together and talked and relaxed. Love my brothers, and it was nice to just be together and have supper, talk, and, hang out as family does.
Absolutely. So, Mike, when a person is cremated, what happens to their teeth? Jenny wants to know.
Oh, Jenny. So a lot of people think that a lady phoned me the other day, actually, and I think this is the lady that wrote the question. And she said, years ago, I went to pick up my father's cremated remains, like 20 years ago, from a funeral home, and I could clearly see his teeth in the cremated remains. And she thought, that was really freaky and disgusting. And, what happens to the teeth? Majority of the time when we're doing cremations, we don't even see any teeth. They turn into fragments. And it's not as if we see a white, shiny tooth after we've done the cremation that's been at 16 to 1800 degrees. So,
are you scraping gold or silver out of the bottom or what?
None of that stuff.
No way.
None of that. But people would like to think we are.
Yeah, they would. Wouldn't
number
they?
one thing people say is, "What do you do with all the gold teeth?" You're right. Do Do you melt it down and buy yourself?
So he's got all those gold rings, isn't it? Okay, that's interesting because a lot of people are wondering different things at all the time.
It's a good question, right? Because people always wonder, am I going to see teeth in the cremated remains? What am I going to see? What does it look like? So cremated remains, really, if you haven't seen them, really, what I want to do in the next show is I'm going to bring you things like cremated remains and show them to you. Can I bring them into the studio?
Yeah, you can do that. No problem.
And then I'm going to bring a
whatever you want,
a hip replacement, a bone replacement of some type, and then I want you to see a pacemaker when we take it out of the body. I'm going to show you some embalming instruments that we use. So the next show is going to be kind of cool.
I want a skeleton right here.
We're going to put a skeleton right here. We'll show you how we embalm and what happens, and it'd be cool to have a skeleton on the show. Why not?
We did it Halloween. But that was not the real thing. I'm talking about a real thing.
I have one.
So, okay, let's talk about that for a minute because not only do you have skeletons, but there's also people who love to donate their body to science. At one time, I would fill out the back of your driver's license, and there's ways to donate now still. Lisa wants to know if it's a good idea. Do you think that's a good idea to donate your body to science? Would you do that?
It's always good to donate your body to science. This way it gets young doctors, nurses, and other health care practitioners to get in and see the human body and what they do with the human body. So the University of Manitoba has a program. So you got to go online and complete the form. It's the WAB Earth. What's that word you said? WAB
canoe.
It's a program at the university. Bequeath or whatever. So you need to inform your family that you want your body donated to science. First of all, otherwise it will never happen. And a lot of people don't know. We get this question all the time. And believe it or not, you need to be pre-approved.
Oh.
So donating to your pre-approved, not guaranteed. So you can be pre-approved, but a lot of people that turn their bodies to science get turned away. And a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to donate my body to science. I don't have to worry about funeral expenses because they will take care of final arrangements for us, meaning they will cremate the body. And a lot of families are surprised afterwards when they have to pay the fee for the cremation because the body has been rejected.
How about a traveling roadshow that takes the body and dissects it into tiny little pieces and then leaves it in there and puts it back? You've seen all that, right? Before? Yeah.
Make it sound like when I would maybe think about mortuary science was really when I was in General Wolfe junior high school, and we dissected frogs. And there was a counselor, Smith. He was a counselor, but he was also a biology teacher at school. And I remember the first time dissecting a frog, and it was so interesting. And I thought, gee, I wonder what the human body looks like. How corrupt the mind is at such a young age. And then back then I was thinking, well, maybe I'll be a mortician someday. And that's exactly what happened. So a lot of people also wonder about how do you register for an organ donor tissue?
Yeah.
Before it used to be on your driver's license. You can go on your driver's license, sign the back of it, and it's not that anymore. So now you need to provide your information, www.signupforlife.ca. So www.signupforlife.ca. That's where you get the forms for. And then you provide your information. You'll need your name, birth date, Manitoba health card number, stuff like that. Confirm your that you want to do this and what your next steps are going to be and what your decision is and why you want to donate your organs. Inform your family that you want to donate your organs. So when you get our will kit, part of that will kit is a directive to doctors.
I didn't want to leave my body to that. I wanted to leave it to science. So it's like
there's two different things, right? So donating your body to science goes to the University of Manitoba, where medical students will work on your body, and donating your organs are taken from the hospital. So tissue bank comes to the hospital, removes your organs, whatever they may be, skin, eyes, all kinds of stuff like
that.
Mike,
is the person still alive?
No. Well, I think they do take, if somebody's on life support and they need those organs, and I've seen this happen, they need those organs for another person, they'll take them out while the person's alive, knowing that they're on life support. So what happens? So what they do is they take away stuff like your small intestines, heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, pancreas, your heart valves, skin, bones, tendons, your eyes. So those are some of the things they take when you donate organs. And you know what I've seen? I know one family that we dealt with donated eyes of a young lady, and those eyes saved three people's eyesights. So is it good to donate to science? Absolutely. Or to donate your organs? You don't need them anymore. You're gone. It's in you to give. Remember that commercial? It's in you to give the blood. It's kind of the same thing. I think. Would you want to donate organs? Like if you knew you were gone and you knew somebody could use your heart, would you want to do that?
No, I've had heart problems already. So
okay,
no.
well,
but
eyes, whatever.
You obviously you need to have healthy organs to be able to pass them on to the next person. They're not going to accept somebody with problems along the way.
Yeah,
you have to be pretty healthy for them to take your organs.
Like I say, when you die, they don't accept everyone, and a lot of people do these organ online forms, and they're denied also.
See, so as I'm dying, I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing. I'm going to give my body to science, or I'm going to give it towards somebody else who's going to need the organs. But the reality is that it just might not happen. And how am I going to feel after, Mike?
Yeah, exactly. Father Nick just texted me.
Oh, yeah? What do you have to say?
Oh, I wanted to ask a question. I bet you he'll be on the screen any second now. Hey, Father Nick, join us and Ask the Funeral. He knows Wednesday nights are Ask the Funeral.
Yeah, tonight's the night, every night.
All of a sudden you hear,
All right, Mike, do families ever leave cremated remains at the funeral home and never return to pick them up? And how long is a funeral home obligated to hold on to cremated remains? Darlene wants to know, not because she left any there, I'm pretty sure.
So, good question, Darlene. We have probably over, I think I've talked about this on the show before.
Right.
We have over 100 sets of cremated remains. As a matter of fact, Jenny, one of our funeral directors, we're going through the cremated remains the other day because we need to do something with them. And believe it or not, let's just say there was 50 sets of cremated remains. She phoned 50 of those families, and not one family called her back to say, we are coming to pick up those cremated remains. So legally, by law, we have to hold those cremated remains for 2 years. After 2 years, we could dispose of those cremated remains. So that's just about what we're going to do now, is either scatter those cremated remains or buy a mass grave and put them in. Told you, Father Nicholas Tabakis.
There you go. Yo, what's happening?
That's my priest. Yo, Greek Orthodox Church.
He's here.
Welcome to the show, Father Nick. Do you have a question, Father Nick, you want to ask? Priests always have questions.
Absolutely.
Mind you, we spend lots and lots of time in the car together talking about things. So if you had a question,
he would have
asked
it up
me
already. Okay, so what does an embalmer wear in the prep room, Mike? You're not wearing just like underwear and a T-shirt, I'm sure.
Well, you know what? When I bring in all those samples I'm going to bring in next week, maybe I should be dressed as a funeral director. Wear my stuff and everything we do. So when you're in the prep room is a very dangerous place. Airborne pathogens, anything that's bad is in that prep room, including the chemicals that we use to embalm bodies, which are lethal for you and very cancerous. So we use universal precautions. And if we go to the hospital and somebody had hepatitis, AIDS, whatever, the hospital does not tell us. But it's funny, during COVID, they would say that the person was infected or positive for COVID. So a funeral director does not have a right to know how a person dies. So what we have to do is assume that everybody's infected with a disease. And then we use universal precautions, meaning that we use gloves, we put a gown on, we have masks, we have special glasses on that we use, boots that we wear so we don't infect our clothing that's staying in the prep room afterwards. So it's really important. Rosemary says, do you wear COVID masks? Anybody that wore COVID masks, those masks did not protect you one little bit, and we wouldn't even dare wear a mask like that in the prep room, where we do deal with the most lethal. So if COVID was a lethal disease or infection or lethal airborne pathogen, all the funeral directors would be dead, doctors, nurses, and all that kind of stuff. So we use special masks that actually protect us from the chemicals and breathing in the terrible pathogens that roam around in our prep room. So basically it's universal precautions. Make sure we glove up and we gown up and we cover our eyes for protection and we don't leave with blood on our feet where we carry it into our house where there's bloodborne pathogens. So important that a funeral director use systems and procedures when you're in that prep room so you don't take it out of the prep room and pass it on to someone else. Lots of caution.
Is that covered under workplace health and safety, or how does that work?
In a morgue, we have eye wash stations. We have all kinds of things to protect ourselves in case we get a spill and it hits you in the eyes, or if you get squirted with somebody's blood in the eye. And sometimes if you have an embalmer that's not a great embalmer, that prep room can be a mess afterwards.
Really, eh?
Like, it looks like somebody just had major surgery and died. So, if you have good embalmers in there, you won't even find a speck of blood on the floor. As a matter of fact, when we do our embalming, so we need to do our test to get our license, where an instructor stands over us and watches you to embalm a body. And if you get a speck of blood on the floor, you need to ask the instructor to move, and you need to have a mop with the proper chemicals in there to clean up that blood so you don't step on it and get bloodborne pathogens everywhere. So it's a serious job, and a lot of people don't really know what a funeral director does. I should say an embalmer and a prep room. So an embalmer, funeral director, two different things. It could be a very dangerous job.
All right, let's get to this next question.
Hey, I think Father Nick asked a question here. Hang on, let me see
did?
here. Let me go back. Where did he say here? Yes, you answered all my questions.
All right, so there you go. Let's see. Next question says, my girlfriend's son was decapitated in a snowmobile accident. We're sorry to hear that. The funeral home representative told them that it was impossible to have an open casket viewing. What's your opinion on this as a mortician, Mike? Is there something that you would do specifically special to kind of help this family out? Carrie wants to know.
So we've dealt with that before, where people have been decapitated in snowmobile accidents, hitting barbed wire fences and stuff like that. Terrible thing to see. It might sound disgusting, but it is a funeral director show. So I remember having somebody in our care who was involved in a snowmobile accident, and it was so weird to go into that body bag and take the person's body out and then separately remove the head and hold it in your hands. And then, to answer your question, could have you had a viewing? Absolutely. If you had a good mortician who knew how to do reconstructive surgery, and if the face wasn't damaged past the point of viewing, which we would tell a family, we can put the head back on again, which I've done 2 times already. So you place the head back in its place, and there's lots of stitching involved and lots of prepping, and then the family can do a full viewing after that. And both times that I've placed decapitated people back together, they looked amazing, and people had a full viewing, and people go, I thought his head came off his body. So they're all surprised when they see him in the casket, and one family even tried to move his head, thinking that we just placed it there. Yeah. But again, that's something
that would have been disturbing.
It would have been disturbing. But it's actually it was disturbing for me to actually hold a head in my hand.
Yeah, that would.
It was like, wow. I mean, something like from a horror movie, right?
Conan the Barbarian,
yeah, and then,
where he holds it
you're
up,
taking
right?
that and you're placing it carefully on the body and putting the body back together again. And you do this all so families can have closure.
Ichabod Crane.
Funerals and
you know who Ichabod Crane is?
Kevin, look, Kevin, we've been pushing your company all night long, and you just show up now.
Well, that's okay. He's a little late. That's all right. He's
little late,
ready,
Kevin.
He's getting ready to head to Calgary right
away. Hope you weren't watching another show, Kevin. Okay, guys, give it to him. Give it to Kevin now. That's what. Anyways, so yeah, we could do that. We've done that, and we'll probably do it again.
So we're not just looking to sell another smaller casket, are we?
No.
Don't do that. All right. Just making sure.
Just for the viewing?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
okay. I recently replied to an ad for a free estate package. I went into the cemetery to receive the free package. They had me fill out a form, which included my phone number and email and address. I received over 30 calls from this funeral home now asking to pre-plan my funeral and cemetery property. This is a little overwhelming. Is this normal in the funeral business? June wants to know. Sounds like a salesman's calling you.
June, did you ever make a mistake? Okay, this is going to be an educational part right here. If a funeral home is advertising free will kits, if they're advertising estate packages, if they're advertising a free cremation, a free funeral service, don't fall for that. What they're doing is wanting to get your information. So you fill in your information. They get your phone number, your email address. They hand it over to their sales team, and then you're going to get nonstop phone calls, just like June did. And it continues on, and they try and, especially the elderly people, they try and force, these salespeople will try and force their way into their houses and say, oh, just let us come down and show you what we can offer you. It's peace of mind for your kids. You pay in advance, and you never have to worry about anything else. Don't do that. That is wrong. If you want to see a funeral director, Don't allow one in your house who's a salesperson. Go to the funeral home. If you fill in these free gift things, be assured that you're going to get nonstop harassment. And I'm sure anyone who's on the show right now who's watched it, it's happened to them. These are trained sales professionals. And once they get your information, they'll do all kinds of things with it, including selling it to other people.
Crazy.
So it's something that really happens.
Crazy.
Oh, I promised my mom, yo, Mom, how you doing? I say,
hello, Helen.
Hey, Helen, how you doing? I mean, Mom. Who? Did I just say Helen?
Yeah, I did. See you Saturday. In your opinion, Mike, do you think funeral home pricing will be affected due to the new tariffs?
So this is going to be another reason. No, go ahead, Brad.
I might have to look it up because Larry's got a great question. Larry, I don't know if you're on here right now. Maybe you want to repeat your question from
So a lot of
today.
people a lot of funeral homes in the funeral industry are going to lift up their pricing of their urns and their caskets and all that kind of stuff and say, yes, the tariffs have affected us and we have to lift our prices. So you, the consumers, now need to pay for this. Wrong. I don't think the tariffs have hurt too many people here. What's your opinion, Brad? I think the tariffs are hurting. I think they're making more out of it than it actually is. And it's giving people a chance to lift up their pricing and blame it on the tariffs. So I don't think that that it's going to affect our funeral home. We get our caskets locally here in Manitoba and our urns in Canada. So I don't think anything is going to affect anything.
It's all been there before. All these tariffs have been there
have always
forever.
been there.
Yeah, there's always been tariffs. And all of a sudden it's a big thing, elbows up. Forget all that, man. But I'm confused.
It's another distraction, Brad.
Yeah, that's
another
right.
distraction.
That's right.
And you know what? It is catching your mind and it is getting your mind's attention. And then you don't think about anything else other than, oh my God, the tariffs.
How can you raise your prices, whether you're at a funeral home or a cemetery, and blame it on the cost of the living? Larry had that great question today. Larry,
there
Branch.
it is right there, the cost of living.
Yeah, the cost of living. That's right.
I know it's funny with funeral homes and I'm not putting down other funeral homes and stuff like that. And people say, Mike, don't put down. I'm not putting down other funeral homes, but I'm saying that not all funeral homes are honest. Not all funeral homes are upfront. A lot of you have learned many lessons from this show and know what to do when you walk into a funeral home now, whether it's at Voyage Funeral Home or another, and you got your hands up, your gloves on, and you're ready to battle, and you have the answers to the questions. You know what you don't have to buy. You know what's included, not included. Our own federal government has affected our cost of living. No kidding.
More than the orange bad guy. You're right about that. It hasn't been him.
You know, they're blaming Trump, but between Musk and Trump, they've saved Americans billions and billions and billions of dollars.
Trillions of dollars, actually.
Trillions of dollars. And I guarantee you that if
we did that, we would be back on track in Canada.
Be back on track
we would have homeless people in shelters living, not being homeless.
There shouldn't be homeless people anyways.
No, there sure shouldn't.
And if I ever have a chance to do something about that, I can guarantee you that when I say there will not be homeless people on the streets, there will not be homeless people on the streets. And it won't be a campaign speech.
You know, one of the things that they're trying to do to us here in Canada is silence us. So we're going to talk a little bit about that for just a second. Question number 8, and there's 2 parts, A and B. Is it true that you stitch people's mouths closed for viewings? Because Justin could use some stitches.
That's funny. You know, that's probably the number one question we get in funeral service. Do you stitch my loved one's mouth shut? Is my dad's mouth stitched together? No, we don't do that.
Okay,
it's a myth. It's a myth.
Is the tongue removed?
So when I and we don't remove the.
What, the tongue's not removed?
We don't remove the tongue. We don't remove the tongue, and we don't stitch the mouth shut. So we on the next show, when I said I'm going to bring all this stuff down, you got to join us on the next show. I'll bring a lot of toys and instruments down that funeral directors use and other things that I'll bring you that we see after cremation. So basically, what happens is we have what they call a needle injector, and a needle injector is like a gun. And you put the needle injector in and you shoot a wire up and down, and then you tie the wire down so it holds the mouth shut like this. So you get the teeth tight. And then we naturally set the features of the lips.
There's way too much information on this show.
And then another thing we do, there's 2 ways of closing them out. The other one is going in right here with a needle, up, back down, and tightening it. I like to use the needle injector myself, but we never go and stitch your mouth shut. It just doesn't happen. What we do is as dignified as possibly can be. And that's another thing people think. They think, my ex's mouth will need stitches.
None of no. John, good one.
Yeah, I can imagine. Can you imagine if there were stitches? How would you cover it up? Like, how would you, you know? I bet you a bunch of people want to see all the things that come out from cremation. I'm going to bring everything, like a hip replacement, a knee replacement. I'm going to bring all these things into the studio. I'm going to bring cremated remains. I'm going to bring the mouth closure stuff. I'm going to bring suture needles. I'm going to bring all that stuff, and we'll have it right here. And I'll tell you what everything does, and I'll show you.
I got this great portable rig. We could take it right down to the room. Why don't we just set it up in the room and do
imagine
that?
this set up in the morgue.
We could do that.
But we probably see like a ghost or something floating around.
Maybe.
Mike, I would love to see you take our homeless, and I would take the homeless.
Take care of our homeless.
I would, for sure. Not take the homeless into my care. Take
care of the homeless.
You know, when the day comes, there will not be people on the streets that are homeless, and there will not be people in the city that are hungry. Manitoba is a very wealthy province, and this city should learn to work with local businesses.
Gee, where'd the money go?
This city should learn to work with local businesses.
Thought I'd ask.
They will help the city for a little bit of advertisement, feed these people, clothe them, and give them a place to live.
I know you're not the mayor yet, but as being not the mayor, could you put a FOIA in or a request and get the information that you need to see the budgets as they plan them out for the future?
I'm sure you can. I mean,
we should have a right to know because we're the public.
I think being in power would be a really cool thing. And the only reason I would ever run for mayor is to put a footprint on this world that would last forever, of somebody doing good, not doing it for money, not doing it for fame, but doing it for the right reason, and that's to leave a carbon footprint on this world that would touch lives for a long, long time, and to have somebody who's not doing it for money, or to have somebody in power who's not going to be bought or sold, but somebody who's going to do it because it's in his heart and you're doing it for the people. And that's what we need. When people run for politics, for power, whether it's mayor,
any
premier,
elected position,
whatever, it should be about the person's heart, what he wants to do for Canada, what he wants to do for the people of Canada, and how he's going to respect the people that work hard and need to see a little bit of their fruits of their labor at the end of the day.
That's why at the end of the day, you got to do the right thing when we get to that election day. And
big
I think
move
that
on your parts.
We're not going to sit here and tell you who to pick, but I can tell you that.
I'm going to tell you who to pick.
Do your research. Do your research, because I tell you, when you find out at the end of the day who's should be there representing us, I think you're going to find out that you're going to make the right decision.
The problem is when you go on the internet these days, it's so misguiding. And don't forget, the media wins elections for people. And when they're paying the media off, all you hear is the same old that brainwashes you to the point where you're going, well, maybe that's the party I should vote for.
Hey, you know what they've been doing down in the States, Mike? They actually moved a lot of the people there, the immigrants that aren't supposed to be there, the illegal immigrants. They've actually taken them and they moved them off to El Salvador and to these giant prisons. And one of the things that these guys get when they get into those prisons, Mike, is, well, they get a shower, shave, and a haircut. So my question, well, not even my question, but let's see Kim's question is, as a funeral director, every person brought into the morgue gets a shower, shave, and a haircut or style. Is this true? Do you do that?
So yeah, you know what? We don't give anyone a shower.
No,
like, we don't stand somebody up. Stand somebody up in the shower and try and wash them.
Keep them on the gurney and just spray them down?
No, what we do is, so when your loved one gets to the funeral home, if it's going to be a viewing or, a preparation of a body, that body's completely washed down. So your loved one's washed down with so much care. We shampoo the hair. We wash every part. The body's cleaner than it's ever been. Like, we literally massage and shave and do the hair and clean up the person everywhere. Clip the nails, so the person looks.
Did you say massage?
We massage.
What do you mean?
The reason we massage for is because when we're.
What are you talking about, dude?
When we embalm.
They taught that in school?
No, yeah, we do.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
When we embalm a body,
different class at
we're
school.
actually massaging the body as we're embalming it. So let's just say we want to get, let's just say we're working on the femoral, which is the femoral.
So as a funeral director, you feel you relieved at the end that you really provided a good, happy
exactly.
ending.
So,
a good, happy.
It is a happy ending at the end. I mean, the person looks good. But what it is we massage the body as we're embalming to get fluids through the body to get that body looking as natural as possible. So the person actually looks good. So yes, your loved one gets a nice massage, they get cleaned up, they get a nice bath, they get their hair done, they get cosmetics put on, we do the nails, everything.
You put that toupee back in place?
We even yeah. It was funny. Last week we had a guy in, and I was doing hair, and as I'm working on the person's hair, all of a sudden the back of the hair comes up. I'm like, whoa, what the heck? This guy's got a toupee on.
Dwarf on golf. Yeah.
So
Conway action.
So I had to literally glue down the back of his hair so his toupee wouldn't be showing.
It's a good thing you had some of that glue for your own use, right?
Yeah, jeez. You never know that I have.
You never know that you have one.
The back of my hair is like,
not even close.
Like, look at Brad.
Doesn't even flip up.
But anyways, yeah. So we 100% wash, clean, disinfect your loved one, and they look. That's why they look so good. And that's why when we allow you to touch a person. It's never ideally suggested that you kiss your loved one in a casket. That's not a good idea, because, I mean, that body's dead. So there we go.
Okay. Do you think you'll ever retire from this industry, or are you just going to call it a lifetime? Once you die, you're going to be rolled right into the...
I think once you're a funeral director, Danielle, I think it's impossible to retire from this industry, because some of the things we do, some of the things we experience, some of the things that happen behind the scenes, you'll never forget. And I don't think there's a job in this world that could take you to where the life of a mortician funeral director takes you. You know, everything you do, from working in the back to picking up bodies to cremations to dealing with families, it's so intriguing. The horror stories that you could talk about, there's so much that happens that I think once you're a mortician or a funeral director, what's next? I mean, what could you possibly do next that would take you to that next level? You know, I always tell people this, and I was talking to somebody in my office today, and one of the things, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, but I do tell people this all the time, especially when I'm talking to kids in schools. I say, get high on life. Get high on life. What does that mean? Take yourself to another level, a level that just makes you feel good, a level that makes you feel like you haven't done this before, a level that just brings the life out of you.
That's what I like about you. You provide energy. You've got this life force of energy in you.
It's energy that you get from not doing drugs, but just getting... I come here and I do this show, and I get high on life doing this show because it just motivates me and it feels good. And you know people are watching, and it's great. You know, and so I always tell people, get high on life, and it's really a true thing. Hey, Jeff Hoffer, are you high on life tonight? Maybe. Anybody attending the PP rally in Winnipeg? That's coming up too. Do you know about that? Pierre Poilievre going to be downtown.
No.
Wow, you know what? I'd like to
3:00.
I'd like to go
28th.
here. Really?
28th is Saturday.
We need to be there.
You're going to have to get there early though, because there's going to be a big lineup to get in, and there's going to be a lot of people that want to see him.
The last time Pierre was in town, my brother Nick actually had a one-on-one conversation with him.
Oh yeah.
One-on-one conversation with him. It was great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's a guy who will give... My brother Nick was talking to Pierre Poilievre about my brother Kyriak's death. And Pierre actually took the time to stop and listen to my brother. They had a one-on-one conversation with security in the background, nobody near him. So I thought it was great that he was a real person that actually took real time to talk to a citizen who lost a brother to murder.
One of the only politicians who's actually came forward, other than the other guy from Ottawa too, who did the same thing, right? Or was he local? There was another MP.
Oh, that was the MP from
Larry Brock.
No, what was his name again? The St. James MP is.
Sorry.
I can't remember his name. Okay. But anyways, he actually took Kyriak's story right to Parliament, and as I'm talking about it, it'll probably kind of be. But anyways, it was great that he did that, and it's good to see that real people care.
So are we talking 2 elections now? Is that what we're saying here?
No, I'm talking about the federal.
No, I know, but we're going to have 2 elections.
I know.
Crazy. In a sense. There's going to be the first, there's obviously the federal, but what I'm talking about is an election to see who's going to run the PC party here in Manitoba.
Oh, that's true.
And that's the other part of this, right? There's another side of this.
I think if the PC party had strong leadership, people want change.
People do need change.
People want change, and they're ready for change. And
they need.
They need change.
Without it, we're not going to get through, guys.
They need somebody that's going to grab change and run with it. You know, a good leader, a caring leader, somebody who's going to do it for the right reasons.
You know, they say don't fix what's not broken. Well, guess what? Canada is broken, and people are trying to fix it, and we have to make sure the right people fix it, not the wrong ones.
Joe Rogan said something that will offend some people, but some people will understand. Joe Rogan said, I will never come to Canada. I'd rather go to Russia.
Yeah.
That's what he just said recently. I will never come to Canada. I'd rather go to Russia. That's Joe Rogan that said that.
Yeah.
That's because Canada is getting such a bad rap everywhere, because Canada seems to be a communist country. And so much bad is happening here. The murders, the healthcare. Like, Canada has fallen apart, and we need to bring Canada back.
There's been some talk about amalgamating the U.S., Canada, and Mexico all into one big nation and see what happens then. And, that's going to be an interesting discussion going forward as well. And, again, more control. And that's, I think, what we're trying not to have happen is less government control and more freedom.
Yeah, you know what? Governments don't have business in your bedrooms. They don't have business in your schools. They don't have business in certain places. Like, educate our kids.
Yep.
The ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, the things that are important for them to know.
The Department of Education in the States was just wiped off the map.
Gone.
And that's a great place to start. And Trump knew it, and so do all the people that work underneath him.
I like what Trump is saying. I mean, you know what? I don't care what you are or what you do in your bedroom. It's none of my business. But leave our kids alone.
Yeah, that's right.
Leave our kids alone. You're not the parents. You're not the mom or dad.
We need to be active in our kids' education.
Very active. And you know what? For people getting thrown out of school board meetings because they're standing up for their child, 100% wrong.
Yeah.
Our children are right. Next question.
Absolutely. Next question. Well, we're almost out of time, Mike. In a professional opinion, what's the most aggravating thing you need to deal with during funeral arrangements? Debbie wants to know.
Yeah, I want to skip that one, and I want to go to a funny story at the end.
Okay.
Like, I want to talk about a story because I found this interesting. Go ahead.
Okay, so have you ever had a humorous, bizarre experience in your career as a funeral director? And that's coming from somebody. We don't have the name.
So a family member came in the other day and reminded me of this, and she wanted me to share the story in tonight's show.
Right.
So there was a guy named Ron Harris. He was a local plumber, and he ended up having cancer, and he ended up in a hospital in just out of town. I think it was, where was it again? Selkirk Hospital? I can't remember where it was, but it was one of the local hospitals. So I went to, Ron kept phoning me and saying, Mike, I want to pre-plan my funeral. I'm in palliative care. I'm going to die. Can you come out and, I'm trying to remember where the hospital is I'm talking. Can you come out and do my funeral arrangements for me?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to drive out there. I go, Stonewall Hospital.
Okay.
That's where it was. So I drive out to Stonewall to see Ron, and I go into the hospital, and I ask the nurses up front, hey, do you know, Margaret, his sister is on the line right now. So she's the one who asked me to share the story. So I go into to Stonewall Hospital, and I'm like, where's Ron? Oh, he's in his room. So I go walking into Ron's room, and I'm looking for Ron, and there's no Ron in his room. And I'm looking everywhere else, and then they said, well, he's in a wheelchair. And I went, oh, okay. So then I just happen to look around everywhere, and I don't see the guy around. And then I look outside, and it's like 40 below, and Ron is sitting in his wheelchair, but he's like asleep in his wheelchair outside. So I thought. So I walk up to him, I go, hey, Ron, shaking him, it's Mike. Ron. Nothing.
Uh-oh.
And then I'm like, oh, my God, I think he's dead. So I run back inside to try and, get help.
Sure.
So I don't know what these nurses thought. They thought I was a doctor. So we run in, we get Ron, we wheel him into the emergency room, the ER there, and Ron falls out of his wheelchair, and he's on the ground. And here's the nurses trying to pick him up and revive him, and Ron was a pretty big guy, and nobody could get Ron up. So the nurses just let me go in there as they were working at him, thinking I was a doctor. So I reach over Ron, and I'm like, Ron, buddy, get up. All of a sudden, Ron looks up and he goes, oh my God, it's the Undertaker. Am I dead?
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we managed to lift Ron up in the wheelchair and go, Ron, like, geez, bro, you almost died. Like, what were you doing outside when it's 40 below falling asleep? So he literally died and came back to life in the ER room and lived, a couple of weeks after that. And, he ended up passing away, but it gave his family more time to spend with him.
Make sure you smack me real hard just in case, all right?
I remember
lay it
smacking
on.
Ron, and like I'm never going to forget, oh my God, am I dead? It's the Undertaker. That's a story I'll never forget.
I'll take
Margaret.
a black eye for that, just to come back.
Oh, man, don't forget to watch, share, follow, and like the show. True story with Ron Harris. He's gone. May he rest in peace. And I'm glad his sister comes by the Quirk and Flame and hangs out with us and reminded me of that story the other day. I bet you she didn't think I was going to share the story tonight.
Probably not.
We do things for a reason here. So, again, join us next week. It's going to be an awesome show. We're going to bring a lot of things down so you can check out next week, and you're going to love it. So if you haven't shared the show yet, please do. If you haven't followed the show, please follow us. We love you guys. Thank you for joining the show. Your comments are awesome. You're awesome. We love you. Take care of yourselves and each other. God bless you and your families. Brad, thank you for the new studio, Brad. Brad just redid the studio. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
I want to put a picture up so you can see what this studio looks like. You think you're in CNN's office.
We're going to get that right away here. We'll take that before we're done the show.
All the best, everyone. Christine says good night.
Good night, everybody. Take care.